This short demo tackles our CDD tuning approach. CDD tuning is about setting the right parameter and threshold values to ensure a trustworthy CDD scoring. Our approach allows to play around with these values so values can be determined according to your compliance preferences. In what follows, I will show you different ways in which you can evaluate the impact of changing the weights of category scores that contribute to the final CDD score. Also, the impact of changing risk classification thresholds will be cited. We start off with this screen that shows you the distribution of the risk classification with the current thresholds. The pie chart shows the exact number of instances of low, medium, and high-risk customers. We will come back to this screen later after adapting the classification thresholds when two situations can be compared. On this next screen, we also take into account the actual assigned CDD score. Both bar charts have the CDD scores that occur in the data on the vertical axis, the frequency of those scores on the horizontal axis, and the risk classification is represented by different coloring. The bar chart on the left-hand side represents the as-is situation with current weights and thresholds. You see that from a CDD score of 59, no high-risk customers occur, indicating that there are better thresholds out there that can be applied. It is, however, normal or even desired to have customers with a fairly low CDD score that are classified as high risk. This is due to automatic high indicators for certain countries, occupation of the customer, etc. We can, for example, have a good customer with a low score, indicated as a high-risk customer, because he or she lives in Sudan, which is a high-risk country. Both the weights of the category scores and risk classification thresholds can be changed here. When we change the weights, the distribution of CDD scores will change. For example, when decreasing the weight of the country category and increasing the weight of the entity category, we will have more scores around 50 compared to the original situation. A change in the risk classification thresholds will be represented by the coloring of the bars. For example, when lowering the upper bound threshold to 45, more bars will be colored red, indicating that customers with TCDD scores are considered as high risk. Note that in this bar chart we don't consider the automatic high indicators. In this last screen, we decompose the final CDD score and show the frequency of every category score, which are the three components that are used to calculate the final risk score. From these graphs, you can evaluate if the category scores show enough variety, which is important to accurately assign a final CDD score to customers. Regarding the country category score, we see, for example, that only one score occurs, which is 5. All 95,228 customers received this score despite the country they live in. This can indicate that more variety should be applied for this component, or that all customers live in the same country, or that all countries are rated exactly the same. For the entity category score, we see a good range of different values. For the product category score, this can be debated. Returning to the first screen, you can now compare the risk classification distribution of both situations. By changing the different parameters, you can clearly see that we now have a lot more customers that are considered medium risk. We also have slightly less customers that are considered high risk. And this finishes this demo. I hope it was interesting to you, and if you would have any questions or want more information, please feel free to contact us.